So, hello everybody. My name is Kushi, and today we have with us Arjun. Thank you, Arjun, for being with us here today. Uh,
Yeah,
so,
hi. Hi,
yeah,
Kushi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, thank you for inviting me today.
It's our pleasure to have you.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Arjun is currently the Director of Quality and Regulatory Affairs at Herbal Dispatch, and he's also a member of board of. Sorry.
Yeah, I can.
You
Board
can.
of Board of Director for the C45 organization. Yeah,
Okay. So, Arjun, starting with our interview, my first question to you is, can you tell us about your professional journey after graduation? Like, how did you get started and difficulties you faced and how you overcame them?
absolutely. Very good question. Let's start from there. So, I my graduation I did in a 2014, and I started in 2014. Sorry, and then end up in 2016 in a January. So as always, the all students, I have a first question is, what is next? How I can start my the career with the companies and like that. But I was very well prepared because I started that preparation from the second semester,
Right,
and that will give me enough time to prep my resume, to prep my the extra the career activities, plus the networking side from the LinkedIn, which gives me that the enough room. And that's how I landed up my first job within a 1.5 month back in
oh,
2016. So sometimes students say, oh, that time was different, today's time is different, right? But
yeah,
at the end is like, it's like, did you plan for your success? Did you do any proper uh, mapping of your career? Say, hey, you know what, I will graduate in January 2016, or or December 2024. Am I ready? Right?
right,
So when I my first challenge when I graduated was, I didn't know anybody. So how can I build my professional network? How can I apply for the job? Because it says, like, if you want to create a class, then you need to be different from the mass, right?
right,
So
right,
if one job posting is there and if 1,000 applicants are there, how I can separate myself from that 1,000 people, right? Because your resume only extract through the software, and how can I get the the filtration? So couple of things that I learn about. I apply the job, didn't get the call, or like sometimes you apply but you are expecting very highly, but you are not getting the the call, or not, your application will not selected, right? So same, like my struggle was like, oh, why didn't I get the call, or like but that's a journey, right? The more you fail, the better you will become, and the better you will become, you will get a good success, right?
right,
So and again, that's like in 1.5 months, what I got my first job is through my the alumni network, whom I know somebody, and somebody knows somebody who is
right,
working in the industry. And then I set up, I say, hey, I didn't say that I'm looking for a job. I say, hey, can you help me to guide me something that how that's how I can get my first job very uh, easily, not easily, but if you can guide me very well, right,
right,
then it will be helpful for me for my better future career, right? And I remember I was living in a Etobicoke. When he say, hey, I have a in evening time today, 1 hour, do you have a time? I say, I will put everything on side, I would like to meet
right,
you, right?
right,
Because I believe in the right time, right opportunity. If you are not knocking the door, it doesn't happen, right? So
right.
to draw, I went through the the all like students, from the the TTC to the transit. I met that guy at 9 p.m. and guess
Uh,
what? He
right,
was the the HR in the company called Apple,
right,
right? So
right,
sometimes when the opportunity knocks you, don't be lazy. You need to be quick reactive, because then it's easy for you to grab the opportunity, right? So that's how my interview process was happening, and that HR gave me a really good the understanding about the how the your resume will pick up, what's the the process looks like, and those kind of things, right? So
right.
this says, right, each difficulties will lead you for better growth.
Yeah,
So
right.
that was my the graduation journey. And sometimes you need to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, then who will believe in you?
Right.
So it's like, hey, one day one job is waiting for me, because
Right.
I did enough grinding for myself during my, the university or colleges, that I got enough, the knowledge. But still, how I can be better, how can I, in today's till date, how can I be best version of myself, right? So that will lead for your better success, right? So yeah,
Right. And
I hope
how?
I gave you the good
Yes,
answer.
yes, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
How did your education at college prepare you for your career?
A very good question, because in today's time, people think like, hey, you know what, education is not necessary, or like, uh, for me, my schools prepare me to develop the fundamentals. So it's
Mhm.
like, if you are making the building, or if you build the, the big giant tower, your foundation needs to be very solid and very clear, right? So
Right,
what education gives me, the a lot of, the skills development, where I can, they prepare me to, it's like, the small fish is ready to go into the sea, or, the pond,
yeah,
right? So my education helped me to, develop some skills, develop some, the technical knowledge about the industries, like, because I'm working in a GMP sector, EU GMP sector. So they prep me, say, hey, how it looks like, what's the industries, the standards, and all those kind of things. And plus, you have a really good connection with your professors, because they have also, the practical experiences, right?
right,
So uh, I still remember while I was in a HPLC classes, after even my class done, my professor was working with, the industry, and we like to like, we request them to give us, 10-15 minute extra. And,
right,
he guide us that how the industry is, the working, what's the, the culture looks like, right? So a lot of way, the education can help you to build you and, make you for success. Yes.
right. I think you also answered my third question.
Yeah.
What skills learned at the college have you used most since you graduated?
So, the since it's a 10, almost 10, 8-9 years, right? But one of the thing is like what I learn is about technical writing.
Hmm.
Say, one of the program says, hey, write down the SOP for, the centrifugation. And that was my first, I still remember that day. I'm like, hey, how the SOP looks like, because, the Health Canada regulation, sometimes the FDA regulation, EU GMP regulation, right? So when my professor told us that you pick one instrument, write a SOP for that. And I still remember that day. And that's, my first journey towards the industry, that, I wrote those kind of, the SOPs that prepped me for my earlier career. Say, if somebody asks you in the industry that, are you aware about SOPs, are you aware about the regulations, the standards, to write, how to write down, the SOPs, I was like, yes, I know that, right? Because that's how, I learned my first thing. So of course, it's, you cannot measure, because you learn a lot of things, like, some of the equipment, how those equipments are using in a, the pharmaceutical industries, plus, the some of the chemistries. Sometimes people say, hey, I studied the chemical lab tech. Sometimes people say, hey, I studied the biotech. But when you are going in industry, you need all information,
All that.
right? So it's like, it's a combo pack. When you go there, if you have an awareness and knowledge, you can bring that, the values on the table, while you are,
Yeah.
adding the values for that company, right? So yes, for my answer is, of course, the SOPs and everything. But
SOP.
instruments, help me to guide, give me a more understanding how the, the system works and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me one of my activities where I had to write a SOP in my
Yeah.
personal development course. And our professor also had put up some like videos where um, kids write the instructions and they're like really funny when you follow it because you're
Yes.
following exact instructions, so like because anybody who's going to do it is going to follow exactly what you have written, so you have to be very precise and you need to know your stuff when you write SOP.
And the second thing, not probably the technical, but how the university or colleges help me is like, create a team.
Hmm.
Because right now I'm working as a director, I'm managing the team, but the foundation already started in school and colleges, because they
Correct.
say, hey, this is assignment. This is the, of course, the 20%, 10%, or 5% assignment, but there are the four peoples, and that four people or four students are randomly selected. So it's not like I know my friend, or, this is my friend circle, right? So it's not like that. So prof, always, selected the random people. And then now how to, work together as a
Right.
team to
Right.
fulfill that project. So my journey also, I'm a certified project manager, the certified quality manager and everything. Those kind of skills really help you to a good to get the good success in your career.
Right. Correct.
So yeah.
What problems do you think most students face when they transition from academics to work environment, and how do you suggest tackle them?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. So for me, when I can share my journey. So when I graduated, a lot of times, we don't have enough information about industry, right?
Right.
Because there are two entities, academic and industry, right? So mostly the students think that, hey, you know what, we'll get a job within the 1 month, or 1.5 month, right? And then the when the time a little bit goes further, the motivation going down, because you don't see the the result right away, right? But when I was very firm that, hey, you know what, I'll give my best to find a job every day. Am I If I am a manager, and if I am hiring myself, do I have enough the skills in a checklist? And sometimes you need to do the self analysis, right? You cannot blame, you cannot put the excuse. You say, hey, do I have enough skills? So then some companies can pick me up, right?
Correct.
So the first the challenge which majority student find is like, they don't know how to get the entry level job in the industry, or like how the the HR, human resource process works. So then you find the answer. You meet couple of people who are a little bit ahead, and who can share with the guidance, or you connect with somebody in a LinkedIn, ask the mentorship. Because we all have a mentors in our life, but sometimes you need to find the professional mentor who is already successful in that area, right?
Correct.
My best lacking part, or like the thing which I can learn in my earlier career, is you need to make your professional mentor who can help you how to build a successful career in your field, not in other
Correct.
field, right? So for
Right.
example, I know somebody who is very successful in X, the company in a banking sector, but that same person cannot give me a mentorship to be a successful in a pharmaceutical sector,
Right.
because both are different, right?
Right.
So biggest challenge, like, didn't have enough information, didn't know, or sometimes being international student, you say, I don't know a couple of people, right? But at
Right.
the end, it's like, is your excuse, or how you see yourself, or you find a solution and start to work on that, the skills, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so it's rather than you know ask yourself, if I am a manager, can I hire myself for whatever the position? And if answer is yes, then of course that's really good, then you are on right track. But if answer is no, but still it's not late, because then you can fulfill that gap, right?
Right.
So
What have you learned in the industry that you wish you had learned in college?
oh my God, that's a really good question. So, my journey was like, when I graduated from 2016, though I have a, master degree from India, where I came, as an international student. I worked there in a pharmaceutical sector. The one thing which I was, still I can go back and change is, from my day one, I will start some preparation for some certification program. Now my journey was, I work in a company called Apotex. Then I moved to the the biotech company. But one of my the manager who was in a biotech was very nice. I still have a really great connection with him. He found my blind spot, and he guided me that, hey Arjun, you are well good in your career. You are a quality control associate or quality control specialist. But now what is next? Do you want to be a manager? Do you want to be go further? If your answer is yes, now start to learn about leadership skills. Start to invest in yourself, to develop yourself, to enhance your skills, right? And he say, do you have a budget to do some courses or some certification? And I say, no, because it's expensive. I came from international big, the I was international student, paid my fees and everything. But he said, do you have a money to buy iPhone 16? Right? And I say yes. So he said, like, if you have a money to buy iPhone 16, he say, I'm not denying it, that factor, but why not you can buy iPhone 13, for example,
Mhm.
save some money and invest in yourself to enhance your, the skills. And from that point, that clicked me really, really well. And that's my professional development journey started from that point. I started my project management certification, project management journey, plus the certified quality, the journey and everything. So invest in yourself. If you if if you really want to be successful, you need to invest in yourself. Even till today, if you ask me what is my goal for 2024 is very clear, what I want to achieve, right?
Right.
So map out your journey, and find a good professional. I'm not saying that your manager can be your mentor, but find a good get a good feedback from your the manager, or your from professor, from the your colleague, friends. Say, hey, you know what, how can I improve? What do you think? If you are a manager, do you hire me? Right?
Right.
So that's a couple of questions you need to ask yourself, right? So yeah.
Now, would you suggest any additional certificate or training to students apart from academics that would help them secure a job?
Yes, absolutely. So it depends, like, which sector you are going, right? So for example, in Canadian pharmaceutical, I highly encourage, the mistake which I made it is, before you graduate, you must need to get, the GMP knowledge certification. If it's a certification, right? Then it will be really helpful for you to extract your profile when you are applying the job, right? Some
Yes.
of the quality courses, for example, somebody who wants to be a in a food sector, quality tech or quality control tech, right? Then there are some certification, like the certified quality auditor.
Mhm.
It will take you to crack 6 to 8 months, but those kind of certificates really add a lot of values. Somebody would like to be in a the manufacturing field, right? For example, they want to be an operation leader or operation manager. Then the certificates called the Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma, right? The black
Right.
belt, yellow belt, or the green belt. Those kind of the certifications will give you additional boost to your career. Because think about that, uh, when you are in your class, let's say you have the A plus grade, and that class has a capacity of 30 people. But when you are applying the job, you are not competing only the Centennial College student. You are competing the entire world who is coming to the Canada, who is applying for the job, right? So the question is, how you extract your profile from those people. And some people are have already 10, 15 years experience. So how
Right.
you compete, right? Those kind of certification will give you the extra, the wings to at least be on the sitting at the chair of the the interview. And that's how you can enter in that journey, right? So if I see myself, if you look at my LinkedIn profile, every year my goal is to crack one certificate every year, because I would like to be a best version of myself. So if you forget everything, after this interview, just remember one thing: you need to be a best to get the best. Okay,
Right.
so yeah.
How can students without a co-op enter the field of work? How do they start?
I think that's, so some programs have a co-op, some programs don't have a co-op, right? Uh, those who don't have a co-op, they don't need to feel like, hey, you know what? I didn't co-op, like, I didn't get a co-op, or like, can I get a job or not? This today's time is everything all about skills. What kind of skills you have, right? Look at some students are really successful, some student after their graduation, because they invest in themselves to develop those skills, right? So people who or students don't have the core program, please don't feel anything that you are left out or something, right? It's just like what I say, that find in which industry you want to go. Ask yourself, when do you want to achieve that, your goal, and what is the next. So let's see, if I graduate from biotech program, my biotech program don't have a co-op, right? Then what I need to do, I need to learn what kind of, the say for example, somebody posted the job in biotech industry as a quality control tech. I'll go through that job duties, and I will find out what skills they are looking. So one of the skills, if they says like PCR, do I know about PCR study? Do I know about, a laminar flow or something? That technical word is coming, right? And then spend a lot of time to get a theoretical knowledge first. And today's time is like, you can do the YouTubing, you can find
Right.
the practical experience, right? You don't need to go exactly into the lab. Make your the concept very clear and be more confident, and as I say, believe in yourself, right? Because if you don't have a hungerness to go further, nobody bite the chew for you, right? So yeah, so co-op, if you will get a co-op, of course you will get the the entry into the industry. But when I graduate, I didn't have a co-op program. Look
Right.
at, I'm sitting till today as a director of quality, right? why i'm
Right.
why I'm sitting here today, because I have a hungerness that, hey, one day I want to achieve this, and to achieve this I did my self analysis that, hey, I want to learn. Am I have 10 out of 10, or am I sitting at number two skills, right? And then eight skills are lacking. So even, let's see, if you ask me what is my next goal, I say, hey, I would like to be a VP of quality. Am I perfect today? No. But I need to develop some, I need to do the gap analysis to learn about those skills. So then, after 2 or 3 years, I can be, in that, the position, right? So
Okay.
yeah, that's a really good question. Yes.
Can you share any resources or networking opportunities you benefited from since graduating?
Absolutely. So, in today's time, in the way professional world works, mostly people use the LinkedIn. So when I graduated, I didn't use the LinkedIn, but one of my, the professor, he guided me that, hey, you know what? This is a professional network. This is a really helpful tool. And this is a, free. You don't need to pay like, in advanced version or anything. Start with a free version. Make a lot of connection the field which you want to go, right? And then, sometimes some people are there, so learn about how to do the communication with them, because you want to be a successful, not them, right? So you need to put efforts to make some good network, like the like LinkedIn, or if you are using any other professional network, like I know some pharmaceutical companies, they have their own, people have their own separate WhatsApp group where they are posting the jobs, and like so it's like for me, the LinkedIn, it was very helpful to me, because then I learn about making some connection, make your profile very, very stronger. You see somebody, let's see, again, say back to, if I want to be a VP of quality, I will see somebody who is already VP of quality, and I will
Right.
evaluate their profile and say, what this person did it, so then he's sitting at that chair, right? And then, what I'll go then, I'll do my homework, I'll find it out what skills I need to learn. I will start to, work on that skills. And then, that makes me more ready. So LinkedIn, professional networking, or like if you are a domestic student, right? Hey, you have so many, so many people. So someone who can guide you, right?
Right.
Someone can help you. So, invest in a professional networking, invest the time in the professional, even the branding or marketing for yourself when you are in a LinkedIn, right? So learn about those skills, and it's like, learn from where you want to learn. So it's right, if I don't know anything, but I learn today, start from today, don't wait for tomorrow, right? So yeah.
And when do you think is the right time to start looking for a job?
Of course, that's a really, really great question. So, let's see if you are in so you plan it out. So you are in a first semester, right? You don't need to worry right now about, the say, hey, can I get a job? Can I get a job or not, right? First, let's complete your 2 semester very well. Meanwhile, as I say, open your LinkedIn account, build slowly, slowly, because think about Rome cannot build by in a day. It
Right.
built by every day, right?
Right.
So it's like if you are in a first semester, learn about professional networking. In parallel side, learn about the biotech skills or any programs which you started, right? But when you are in a third semester, think about that. Now your journey started from third semester, because prior, that says, like, if you want to get a success, you need to plan well, right? To plan well, you need to start to do the mapping. What's your initiation phase looks like? What's your execution? Which date is your execution? Which is your graduation date,
Right.
right? So I still remember when I was in a third semester, I started to create my resume. I started to do, show some people that, hey, there is it a good resume looks like. uh, so then when you are graduate, you are not making the resume, and that's a bad strategy. You need to create a good strategy to get a good success, right? So I
Right.
think third semester is the point where you can start to look for the career. And then I still remember I was doing in a Google, say, top 50 companies in a biotech industry or in pharmaceutical industries in Canada. And I was, go with one by one company's website. Why?
Right.
Because I want to get a job, right? So start from third semester, because then you have enough, the couple of time. And let's see, if you are doing any certification program or something, I would encourage, finish the fourth semester, or like, complete that exam zone, and then graduate. And then, but meanwhile, from third, start those kind of preparations. So then you have enough time, right? So yeah.
Okay. What advice would you like to give to the students who are about to graduate and to the students thinking about entering the biotech or food science field?
Okay, so about to graduate, right? Believe in yourself. Okay. A lot, one company is waiting for you, one job is waiting for you. It doesn't matter. There are 1,000 competitors there. It doesn't matter. What do you want to achieve? Like, if somebody came as an international student, why they came as an international student? If they know their why, then they know how, right?
Right.
So whoever is graduating, right, just make sure, as I say, plan your success very well. Don't waste your time, okay? Because today's your time is very, very valuable. Because if
Right.
you are not being a productive by utilizing your time, the time will not stop for you, right? And it goes past. So whoever is graduating, don't think about, oh, it's too late or whatever. Start from today, right? And sit down with your professor, sit down with your, whoever through the professional network or personal, the network. If that person is, working in industries or something, and ask them how I can, be more successful. And the students who are graduating, who are just entering, right? Hey, do you like this industry, right? What's your thought? Get more, get explore with, some students. So then that, uh, is it a good for me, or like, see, all industries are good. It's kind of who is variable.
Right.
Kushi, who is variable is me. Success is not variable,
Right.
because there are thousands people who is planning to get success, and the variability is me, right? So whoever is just starting, it's a phenomenal sector, I would say, because biotech, food, pharmaceutical, or medical devices, those are the, the industries, their sun never die.
Right.
So a sunset never happen in those industries, because of the, the human, the, CPG consumptions and all those stuff, right? So the demand and supply is still there. So don't worry about whoever is just starting. Can I get a job? No, no, that's a not good question. That's a wrong question. First, ask yourself, am I enjoying, right? Am I
Right.
am I learning, right? And then, you go further.
My last question to you is, can students connect with you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not, right? Because see, when I was student, I graduated, right? That was one of my question to, one of my professor who guided me, and said, "Can I connect with you?" And he said, "Yeah, absolutely," because at the end, are you hungry? If yes, you will find the solution. So yeah, you guys can connect with me if you feel like, hey, you know what, you need more guidance, because everybody has 24 hours. Remember that, right? So
Right.
just if you ask your professor, if you are really looking, or if you really need a help, that professor can help you to connect with me, and of course, I can definitely add more values and guide the individuals. Yeah.
Right. So this is it from my side. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm sure a lot of students are going to benefit from this video, hearing to your experience, your knowledge, and it's going to be very helpful to everybody. Thank
Thank you, Kushi, and thank you, Sentinel College, and thank you, the professors, who invited me today. I really enjoyed, and remember that when you think that can I get a success, ask yourself, am I ready for success? And
you.
that's your question, right? So I would like to thank all management committee to invite me here, and allow me to share my own journey and experience. And I hope every students will like this interview. And as I say,
Absolutely do.
if you don't remember anything, the last thing which you remember is, am I in a journey to be a best? And if
Correct.
the answer is yes, you are on right track. The answer is no, then there is nothing missing out yet. You can still start from today, right? So
Correct.
be a best version of yourself, because good, better, and best, but never rest, right? So
Never
yeah,
ends.
back
Yeah.
to you, Kushi.
Thank you so much, Arjun.
No problem.